Hi guys, with the Nationals coming up, I thought I'd make a quick video to show you common measurement breaches that we have in New Zealand at the moment. The purpose of the video isn't to scare you, it's just for education. Domestically, I think it's good that we just focus on education with measurement so that when we do travel overseas, we're not getting penalties. So some of the rules that we'll go over you may think are pointless or stupid. Yeah, that may seem the case, but most of the rules are A, for safety, B, to make sure everything's fair and equal, and C, if a protest comes to the jury and you don't comply, no matter how stupid you think it is, the jury will have no choice but to follow the rules, so it's best just to comply. So one of the first things you'll see in the class rule is this note here. Because you're a one design class, basically if the rules don't say you can, you can't. So if you've done something to a boat and you can't find where that's permitted in the class rules, it's probably prohibited. So the first one we'll go over is the luff measurement band. Now this one here, this doesn't comply with the rule of colour strongly contrasting because they've put the band under the luff. Easy quick fix, put another band over the top and stitch it in. Okay, so you can see this band here doesn't have a stitch through it, so it needs to have something through it so it's fixed to comply with the rules. So often they'll put it on and then sew the stitch up here, but for some reason sometimes they don't and they leave the loft like this and they can't be measured till there's a stitch through them. So all you have to do is get a needle and thread and put one stitch through the band somewhere. Now one of the more common ones I'll see day to day around the boat park, and it's quite a bad one, is your band being out, so your sail band being out of the mast band. So common misconception is they think it's the top of the top band and the bottom of the bottom band on the mast. Now the band on the sail can't touch any part of those bands on the mast, so it's the bottom of that top band and the top of the bottom band that band on the sail needs to be between. Now if your band's out, so it's touching the top band on the mast, your problem is probably your top diagonal tie is too loose, and by tightening this, you'll pull the whole sail down. A good benchmark is the top horizontal tie should be approximately horizontal. If it's above horizontal, that's probably because your diagonal is too loose, pulling the whole sail up, and that's what's causing your sail band to be touching the top mast band. Now, if it's the other way, and the sail band is touching the bottom mast band, and you need to move the sail up, have a quick look at your twisty rope, because this is commonly the problem. It's technically a preventer, but the red rope in this photo, I call it the twisty rope, it's probably fallen off. So when you've pulled your bang on, the whole sail's just come right down. If that's not the case, then it again is your diagonal, and in this case it would need loosening. So remembering one of our first things in the class rules, if it doesn't say you can, you can't. Doesn't say you can have anything like these stripes on the sail, which I know are used for testing, but it doesn't say you can, so you can't. Okay, your national letters and your sail number need to be on a plate on the right hand side of the thwart. I know you're going to say what, but we have to have it on the side of our boat. Well, that's actually a New Zealand rule, not an international rule, and the class rule state has to be here. So in your guys' case, you're going to have it on the side of the boat and here because you need to comply with the New Zealand rules and the class rules. And I would suggest asking the measurer at the Nationals if it is acceptable to have it on a piece of tape, as this person has done here. And they also need to be on the foils and the spars, and this can just be done with a marker pen. Okay, so the distance between the spar and the sail is 10 millimeters maximum. A lot of people think it's 8. That number comes from a recommendation. So the recommendation is to have it 8 mils so that you're not pushing the 10 mil rule. The one in the photo, you can see I'm not measuring it, but my finger is easily fitting in there, and your finger's a good estimation of your 10 mil. So yeah, that one's clearly not complying. So all the sail ties along the mast and the boom, you need to make sure they're tight enough that there is not more than a 10 millimeter gap between the boom and the sail, not the eyelet, the sail. So this person has their paddle, which is good, but they've missed one part of the class rule, which is attaching it to the boat with a cord. So they need to tie something onto the paddle and onto the boat. Okay, so this is the 2014 rule that allows you to attach the cord on your centerboard to the hull with a plastic hook. Now, the rules were updated in 2015, which says that you can only use a small shackle, or alternatively you can obviously tie it. Now, in 2014, when that plastic hook was still legal, we got a penalty overseas for using one of these hooks, which most of you have, because we were just told it simply wasn't strong enough, and of course by the end of the year they'd been banned altogether. So most of you have them because they come with the centerboard, which is quite bad. So what you need to do is literally just cut off that hook, shouldn't be on there, and then either tie it in, or if you want to, you can add a shackle, but those are the only two ways to attach that cord to either the centerboard or to the hull. So often get asked what bungee is allowed and what's not. Well, your hiking straps, you're permitted for 3 pieces to hold them off the ground, so you can have one on each front strap and one on the back. And the centerboard, you're allowed 1 piece of bungee to hold it down, 1 additional piece of rope or bungee to help that system, so that's the bit you put under the centerboard case, and you're allowed the tubing. So this system here you can see is completely compliant, and they're actually doubling up the bungee on the front of the hiking strap with the centerboard bungee, which they don't need to do. They could have an extra 2 pieces there, 1 on each hiking strap at the front. Class rules say you need to have a whistle and it needs to be tied on. So if I grabbed your whistle and I could walk away with it without you coming with me, you would not be compliant. So that whistle needs to be attached to the life jacket. So your tow line needs to be a minimum of 8 meters long and it needs to float. Now sometimes people put a little bit of rope or a sail tie around the front of the boom to try stop this bottom boom tie from sliding off. Now it's been back and forth on this one, but talking to the measurers at the Worlds last year, it's definitely not allowed. And your bridle, which is the rope your main sheet attaches to, can't extend more than 100 mil from the boom. Purely a safety rule, you gain nothing out of pushing it. In fact, it just makes tacking harder, so I suggest tying it nice and tight. So if your sail was measured for the first time before May the 1st, 2015, the bed and pocket patches can look a little bit smaller, so a maximum of 150 mil wide. If they were measured for the first time after May the 1st, 2015, both bed and pocket patches on each bottom should be the bigger one, bigger of the 2 patches, should be a minimum of 160 wide. Now this sail for some reason has one of each, and that's not okay. A couple came out like this where they obviously got confused with the rule change. So check your sail, if it was measured after May the 1st, both battens should have the larger batten pocket patch on them, and if it was measured before May the 1st, 2015, it's okay for both of them to be the smaller ones. So the forms that you'll need to present at registration are your sail measurement form, your spars form, your foil form, and your hull booklet. Now, you might actually need more than one spar and foil form, depending on if the spars and foils you're using are all measured on the same certificate. So you just need to check the number on the certificate matches the number on each spar and foils, because often you mix and match with your sets. So all you need to do is check that every item you're using, the number on that item matches the number on the piece of paper.